All right, so today we're going to work on the greenery around the door and the tree or the rose bush flowers. And I have here sap green, cadmium yellow light, and Hooker's green deep hue permanent. You don't have to have that. Use any green you have. This green is slightly different than the Hooker's green. I'm just using it for variety. If you have sap green only, we're going to keep it simple. This is a small painting. It's not a big, huge painting, so we don't need to use too many colors. See, this is the green from the Hookers, and this is sap green. And if I put yellow, you will see the difference in the two colors. One is a bit grayish, and the other one is more yellowy, that one here. So let's start. I always start with dark, medium, light. So we have the dark already. All we have to do is use a medium tone now. So I'm using the Hooker's green I have here, putting some yellow in it. And not too light yet. I'm using a round brush, and I'm going to start. You know what? I'm going to zoom in. Push this in so you can see what I'm doing. And let's start highlighting. Medium tone, round brush. I'm going to start with some right here. This is all medium tone. You know, what will look really nice with this green is a bit of red. Touch of red. I am not doing a specific shape of green. I'm just moving my brush around, and now in some areas I will add that specific shape of leaf, but not everywhere. Doing something like this triangle, kind of, that has a shape of a heart. Overlap some of them, and some of them just kind of floating. Now I'm going to go out of this sharp dark green with the medium tone. And I'm going to bring some of them over the door. Some of these midtones. I will be highlighting. This is not the final. This Hooker's green is dark, very dark, so I can use some of it if I want to bring some of the dark green over the door. You can use a little bit of red in your green if you like. All right, let's go back to medium tone. Medium tone, when I'm using a medium tone, I don't really worry too much about the shape of the green, the leaves, because I will shape the leaves better when I start highlighting, strong highlights. Because if you shape the leaves like this when you start, like that, and then you highlight over it with the same movement, it doesn't look, it looks kind of choppy. It doesn't look uh, realistic. This is going to dry darker. So what I do is certain areas I would just kind of put a little bit more, and other areas I'll just kind of a hint. Especially the top part. Top part is usually lighter. See how when you highlight, when you have a dark background and you put green over it, it looks like there's a 3D kind of effect. The leaves look like they're coming forward. I'm going to use sap as well. Let me see. Well, it's the same kind of. We still have the flowers to add. I'm going to add some flowers before we highlight the leaves more. I'm going to place the flowers, position them. Good idea as well now to put the twigs or the branches, because we lost them when we were doing the wall. We put some of them. So I'm gonna pause for now, and then we'll continue. Okay, so meanwhile, when I was off camera, I was trying to mix some colors here to see what combination works better for the flowers. Now, before I do this, some areas eventually that's what we're going to have to do. Some areas, you see here, there's a strong dark line in here because of the original color that we put in there. Sometimes what I do is, not now, when I'm kind of midway, I would mix kind of the color of the wall, doesn't have to be exactly the same. And I will go in my brush and open up. Actually, if it's down here at the bottom, I'm gonna go darker. I'm gonna open up a bit, negative painting. So I would get rid of the harsh line and maybe open up in here inside. But we can do this after, and we should do it after, not now. But it shows you how you see how instead of having a harsh line, it becomes much softer and much more realistic looking, much more kind of organic.
Because mine needs to do that, so we'll do it later.
We all need to do that. I need to do that too. But just for you to see how you can easily make it less heavy if you have a heavy part. Now, let's go back to the flowers. Right? So I have cadmium red medium, alizarin crimson. I'm going to mix them. And I'm going to put white. Not too much white at first. Enough to, I just need that. The flowers need to stay kind of, have some kind of a dark color in there. Now this gives us pink, like pink. If we want a color that is a bit more orangey, then we can use cadmium red light instead of cadmium red medium. But I think cadmium red medium is a nice color with the rest of the painting. All right. This is going to dry darker. All right, so let's start. Let's start and see how we can do some very kind of a nice cluster of flowers, the placing the flowers. Let's start with this corner. Kind of an oval. I'm going to do a cluster first. Some of these flowers are going to be darker. I think they grow next to each other. Kind of groups, in group. Now, try not to make them too like a perfect circle, more like an kind of an oval. I'm going to put a couple small ones here. There's no detail right now. This is just placing colors, placing them around. No detail. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Sometimes I'll put a couple, and then I'll change the composition or the grouping. So really, it doesn't have to be perfect. And it's good that they're drawing darker. So I'm putting clusters of grouping of these beautiful flowers or color. And then in between, I'll show you what I mean. In between the grouping, I have groups of flowers. In between, I would add couple of one or two in between. So that connects all of them. So you don't have too much of gaps of greens there. Good. Okay, let's continue. I'm going to darken some of them. I'm going to highlight them anyway. Although if you look at the reference, although they're sitting next to each other, they're not all the same value. Some of them are darker value, some of them are lighter value. Right, let's go here. Let's get to this one here. Those lovely ones here are facing this way, left. So you can't see it right now, but once we start highlighting, we can show a little bit of that movement. I would say this is the focal point. This beautiful tree. Flowers are the focal point in this painting. I think we're okay here. Of course, it doesn't mean that this is it. We can go back and add some more if we want. But for now, I think it's good on this side. We're good on this side. All right. Let's come to this point, to this part here. Trying to have a movement that's kind of flowy, because this is those flowers are warm color, so you see it. There's no way you're not going to see these flowers, each one of them. So, whoops, let's take. I'm glad we're working on a small painting, small canvas. All right. What sizes are you working on?
8 by 10.
Okay, good.
I've got a 9 by 12.
Yeah, it's good. It's nothing big.
Mine might be bigger, unfortunately.
What's yours? 11 by 14?
Yeah, I think it might be, yeah.
Still, it's a good one. Not too big.
Yeah. Okay.
Ingrid, you're not working on that one, on this one, right? You're working on something else.
No.
Okay. All right, I'm going to pause before we start highlighting. All right, so while we were chatting off camera, I added all of the branches and twigs, and I completely forgot that I am not recording. So I'm going to send everybody a picture of this, and I used raw umber for the branches or the twigs, raw umber, and a bit of the hooker's green deep permanent. So preparing for next week, we're going to be highlighting. So this is how it looks right now. And we will highlight flowers next week and probably start working on these two here. So this is where we're at this week.